Hello, everybody. We are talking with Davide Biocchi. Hello, Davide.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, doing good. Thank you. Doing good.
Davide, yesterday we had an FOMC statement, and we heard that FOMC won't plan any more cut rates in 2020. What does it mean to the markets? And first of all, what does it mean to the S&P 500?
Well, let's say something very important about it. First of all, this is very important because imagine that through the last year, what we have seen is that Mr. Trump pushed a lot, really a lot, Powell to, let me say, put the interest rate down. Imagine that he tweeted a lot about it, and sometimes he said during the summer he pushed him to put the interest down 100 basis points. So this is crazy, 1%, okay? And sometimes also Mr. Trump said that his worst enemy was not the China, but Mr. Powell. So something like that was told by him. In a certain way, what happened was that Mr. Powell was very strong in saying that, yes, for sure, this interest rate will be lowered, and he did it, okay. But he said, starting from now, I will be data dependent. That means that he will measure, he will wait for the macroeconomic data when scheduled, he will see, and then the Federal Reserve will act. And several times, he said, this is an independent role that I have, so please don't push me because I will act as I will think it can be the best thing for the United States. So what happened was that after this period, we have seen some not so good data. The ISM, Index of Supply Manager, last Monday was not so good, but the payrolls we discussed on Monday, they were very good. And so what the Federal Reserve said, and this was, let me say, all the components of the Federal Reserve, quite all, I think 14 on 17, they agree on it, that they will not cut anymore the interest rate during the year 2020. So this is very important because this is meaning that they consider the US economy to be very, very strong in this moment. Obviously, maybe in the future, they can maybe change the idea, but for the moment, this was a statement, and it is a real strong statement. And what about Mr. Trump? Well, consider that Mr. Trump is already thinking about the elections, but 2020 for the new 4 years president of US. And in this case, what he needs is that the economy must be very good because this will increase a lot the possibility for him to be again there for another 4 years, okay? So what he needs is or that the US economy will be very strong, and this is what Powell, let me say, showed with this statement, okay? Or he will ask Mr. Powell to give a very, very strong medicine to the economy. But if the economy will work on its own and the medicine is not needed, Mr. Trump will be happy again. So in this case, I think that this is a clear message sent to the worldwide economic community, sent to the China itself, and sent to Mr. Trump. Mr. Powell delivered the idea that the US economy is now in a very strong position.
So now we can, for example, consider that the US dollar will be stronger and it will be a correction on the S&P 500?
Well, we will see. I'm not sure about it. Imagine that you have a chart of the S&P 500 here. It seems that the market is going to test again the previous historical maximum, that is more or less around 3,150, okay? So I think that an attempt to reach new maximum will come very soon, and then we will see, because this is not clear. What really impacted me a lot was that after this declaration, we could probably expect the gold to be weak, but this didn't happen. So if we look at the gold that is connected to the rates and so on, what we can see is that the gold is since after a very, very, very strong end of spring, beginning of a summer, starting from August, the trend of the gold was something like a sideways, but a little bit, let me say, downtrend. Okay, as we can see in the chart. But the price is still here around this 1,480. That is a price where we can easily see that if we will go up this level, it will become very strong again. Or if we will remain here, maybe a test of this area of 1,425 can be, let me say, the support. So I expect something to happen on the gold. I expect something to happen on the stocks market.
Okay, are you?
But in the new year, not now.
Okay, okay. Davide, are you also seeing the flag formation on gold?
Oh yes, this is a flag. Really, imagine that this one is and this we can consider all this a flag. And normally when you have a flag, okay, like this, the flag is normally a very something like a soft downtrend, like we have here. So this is a flag, normally a flag is a continuation figure. So what we can expect is that if the market will overtake this level here, maybe the gold can receive a boost like this, okay?
Okay, so we can consider that gold will be stronger than dollar. But my question before was about the expectation of the market. Market expect that there will be, for example, one more cut on cash rate in United States. It will make dollar a little bit weaker. And for example, if FOMC said we won't seeing any cut rate in 2020, then for example it could make dollar stronger. But for now, we cannot see this happening.
Yeah, okay, this is really true, but for the moment, the figure of the euro dollar is very stable. If we see, this is the euro GB pound, but if we go to the euro dollar, let me, here it is, okay. The figure is very stable. Imagine that the volatility is really something that disappeared from the chart, okay. So this is the historical chart, as you can see through the years. This was the volatility in the beginning of the year 2000, and this is the volatility that we have right now. And the price remained more or less around there. For sure, the euro became a little bit stronger, but we are still in this trading range that we have here, between these two levels, and nothing special is happening right now. So this is not an asset that is moving right now. We need to wait. Imagine also, if we go back for a second to the stock market, imagine that after such a great 2019, as we can see, if we switch to the chart of the S&P 500, that I will do immediately. Let me be there in a second. So the S&P 500 is this one. Imagine that after a very, very, very strong year that we had, okay, so more or less it's like this, okay. After this very strong year, all the let me say, all the funds they delivered very, very good performances. This was very incredible year for the stock market. So they have no interest right now to let the market run again before the end of the year, because the more they go up, the more they will increase the level where the zero for the next year will start. And they already this year consolidated very good performance fees and everything connected to, let me say, something that will make the managers of that fund very rich, okay? But they do not expect and they do not want the market to move. What are they doing right now? They are buying some options on the VIX to protect the portfolios of the people, so to be sure to maintain the performances. exactly what we said was that the open interest on the option on VIX increased at around the level of 20. This is because they protected their portfolios, but they probably do not expect the market to do something great starting from here to the end of the year. If the market will move again, in my opinion, they will do it in 2020, not before.
Okay, okay. Davide, we also, today, we also have European Central Bank
Yes.
statement. And what do you can say about European Central Bank and Euro Stoxx? What can we think about it? Do you see any trends or any risks that are going to, you know, that could change the trend on Euro Stoxx?
Okay, what happened is that I do not expect the Lagarde, Christine Lagarde, to change something in the policy of the ECB. She said several times that she will continue the same path that Mr. Draghi went through. So I do not expect any news from it. What is different is that we knew through the years that Mr. Draghi was very, very capable. He had a very big skill in communicating to the market. Remember the famous whatever it takes that he pronounced several years ago that helped the euro a lot. Okay, several times during these years we have seen Draghi talking directly to the market and the market understanding what he said. What we are now checking is if Christine Lagarde has the same ability in doing that. For sure, she's a very clever person, so I expect that, let me say, she will do exactly good, same as Draghi did, but the style can be different. So we have to understand this new era, this new style of Mrs. Christine Lagarde, and I'm sure that today is the second attempt to do that. The impact on the stock market, in my opinion, will not be so relevant because the expectation is not for some big changes. So something we will see on the bond, maybe some movement we can see here, but later the market, the stock market that can be impacted is the Euro Stock 50. But as we can see, we are very stable around this level. So we are in the middle of this congestion, okay, in the middle of this sideways, okay. Something happened here, but the market immediately after recovered. So I don't expect something special. The only asset that, in my opinion, will move during this day is the GB pound. So the GB pound that we can see here moving from here. So let me say, went through the resistance and now is going to the next step against the US dollar. And especially here, there was a breakout of a support and probably the target of 0.83 can be reached. But this will depend not on the results of the UK election, because in this case, I think the market already have in the prices the fact that will be Boris Johnson to win. But the problem is the magic number. The question is, will he be able to reach the magic number that will allow him to provide legislation connected to deliver a real Brexit? Or will the situation become the same as before? Imagine that in this case, all this, let me say, situation that they created with the election will be unuseful. So this is really what we will see tonight, very important for the pound and for the UK itself.
Okay, Davide, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this analysis, for this whole information that you gave us. My and your guest was via Skype was Davide Biocchi, trader from Directa. Thank you very much.
Ciao, see you soon.